The figure in the mirror. In Black Hollow, there is an unspoken rule. Never look into a mirror before dawn. Those who do will see something they were never meant to see. And when that happens, it will see them too. That night, Raviel was in his study, ancient books spread across the table, a cup of tea long gone cold beside him. In his home on Ravensbourne Street, the wind whispered through the window cracks like murmurs of forgotten ghosts. He wasn't surprised when he heard a knock at the door. This time it was a young woman, perhaps in her early 20s, with dark circles under her eyes from lack of sleep. "Master Nocturne," she whispered, her voice trembling. I need your help." Raviel studied her for a long moment before motioning for her to enter. She placed a small mirror on the table. It was wrapped tightly in black cloth. "What happened?" he asked, his voice as calm as ever. She swallowed hard, fingers clutching her coat. I looked into my mirror at 5 a.m. Raviel narrowed his eyes slightly. "And?" The girl lifted her head, voice barely above a whisper. "But the person in the mirror wasn't me." Raviel unwrapped the cloth. The mirror was old, its wooden frame darkened with time, its surface slightly foggy, as if it had reflected too many secrets. "What will I see if I look into it?" he asked. She shook her head frantically. "Number, don't—" But Raviel wasn't asking for permission. He looked. At first, his own reflection stared back, sharp, pale features, storm-gray eyes, and long black hair tied loosely. But then the reflection changed. It was still him, but not entirely. The other Raviel smiled. He did not. "Interesting," he murmured. Inside the mirror, the other Raviel tilted his head, his grin stretching wider, distorted in an almost unnatural way. "I have found you," a voice whispered. It didn't come from Raviel. It came from inside the mirror. The girl gasped, stepping back. It talks to me every night. It pretends to be me. But I know it's not. I'm afraid that one day I won't be the one leaving the mirror anymore." Raviel quietly drew his silver-etched dagger. "Well then, we should deal with it now." The thing in the mirror laughed, its voice like the sound of shattering glass. "If you break me, I will replace you." Raviel had seen this curse before. Those trapped inside mirrors didn't die. They waited for someone to look for too long, to switch places. Raviel chuckled softly. "You'll replace me?" The thing in the mirror grinned, hunger gleaming in its hollow eyes. "Yes." He tilted his head slightly, gripping the dagger tighter. "Then try." Without hesitation, he plunged the blade into the center of the mirror. A terrible screech echoed through the room. The glass did not shatter immediately. It twisted, bent inward as if something inside was struggling, clawing at reality. The girl covered her ears, stumbling back. Raviel tightened his grip, whispering a short incantation. The black candle on the table snuffed out. And then, crack, the mirror shattered into hundreds of shards. He looked down. Within the broken pieces, hundreds of eyes stared back at him. But then, they faded. Silence fell over the room. The girl trembled. Is it gone?" Raviel shrugged. "Maybe." He knelt down, picking up a small shard. Cursed mirror never truly disappears. It only scatters. He looked into the fragment. His reflection was still there. But, for a brief second, his other self smirked. Raviel narrowed his eyes. Then, without hesitation, he clenched his gloved fist, crushing the shard into dust. He turned to the girl. "Never keep the broken pieces." She swallowed, nodding. Raviel pulled his cloak around him, stepping toward the door. The fog outside remained thick. The girl hesitated before asking, "Master Nocturne, what if I accidentally look into another mirror at 5 a.m.? He paused for a moment. Without turning back, he simply said, "Don't let it see you first." And then he disappeared into the mist. Will he return and bring with him what new horrors? Subscribe and follow along on this journey